Hello everyone and welcome to Student Hub Live with me, Rob Moore, coming to you live from the Study Shack in rural Leicestershire. It's great to have you with us today, and today I'm joined by some colleagues from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, and they're going to be telling us about their new exciting modules that are being introduced and how you can get involved and take part in them. We'll also hear about some of the new exciting short courses. Today we have on the hot desk, we have Damon Miller and Tracy De Beer. You'll know when they send messages because there'll be SHL next to their name. And we also have the wonderful HJ who will be taking your messages. As always, we want you to get involved and we want you to tell us a bit about yourselves. You'll notice there are some widgets that you can get involved with, and we can see that we've got Justus is joining us from Denmark at the moment. I think, Justus, you're the furthest afield at the moment, but let us know if you're further away than Denmark. And we have Janine from Belfast. Great to hear from you. So in the chat box, you can answer any questions that might be across the bottom of the screen, or let us know something about you. Those of you who join us on the workshops will know they've let me out of the box. They've let me come and see you in person today. But the same rules apply. There are definitely brownie points for making me giggle on screen. So if you can make me laugh, there's bony points there. So today we've got quite a packed session. We've got 4 different sessions coming up in this event, and we'll be swapping over as we go through. So the first one, the first session we're going to look at is looking at the new Arts and Humanities curriculum. And we've got James Robson, Professor of Classical Studies, Rosalind Crone, Head of History, Alex Tickell, Senior Lecturer in English, and Jane Yeh, Lecturer in Creative Writing. And they're going to give you the inside track on the new modules. So just a quick reminder, if you are taking part in the chat, that we don't want you to share any personal information. Remember, this is a publicly visible recording, so the chat is visible, so just don't put anything in there that you don't want people to know. Okay, so there we go. Over to Jane first. So Jane, Creative Writing A215. This is the new Introduction to Creative Writing module. So can you tell me what it's about and what students will get from studying that module?
Yep. So A215 covers the 3 most popular forms of creative writing. So that's short fiction, meaning short stories, poetry, and life writing. So that actually includes memoir, autobiography, and biography. So the module is designed to support you to produce your own creative writing step by step. So we start with techniques and methods to help you jumpstart your creativity and just get you going with writing, especially if you haven't done it very much before or at all. And then we take you through the process of drafting, editing, revising your work into a more finished form. And then the module ends with information about how to present your work to agents or publishers. So basically, the module is all about kind of teaching you or showing you useful techniques to help get your writing flowing, and reading and writing exercises to help you practice and improve your skills. So the readings are short excerpts from works by a diverse group of contemporary authors so that you can, sort of read them as examples for techniques and methods that you might apply in your own writing. And also because they're really interesting and enjoyable to read, I think. And then there's lots of these inspiring and I think kind of fun writing exercises to help you experiment with different ways of writing and kind of discover your strengths as you go. They're very open-ended, so you can write about whatever interests you, like subject-wise or style-wise. The idea is really just to help you explore your creativity or draw on your memories and experiences to make good creative writing. Basically, the whole point of the module really is to help you develop your abilities and kind of find your individual voice and style as a writer. Another thing that is important to note, I think, is that no prior experience is required, so the module is open to everyone. Obviously, a lot of students might have taken A111 or A112, but you don't have to have taken them before this. So, it's the idea is that the module will work for anyone, even if they're a complete beginner. But also, if they do have more experience, it'll help them to build on that experience and develop further.
Excellent. So we've been doing creative writing modules for quite a while at the OU, and we learn as we go on. So what have you learned, and what's new that you've put into this module that you're excited about?
Yeah, so as you said, we've actually had this module running since 2005, but this is the first time we've revised and rewritten it completely, based on our experience and what's worked in the past. So the module, the course book or set book, which is sometimes called the Big Red Book informally, we've completely revised and rewritten it. So we've updated all of the readings. So again, they're much more inclusive in terms of things like ethnicity, class, disability, etc. And also just in terms of like reflecting more contemporary styles and approaches of writing. And then we've also added a ton of online study materials. So we've recorded new interviews with different authors, uh, and sorry. But yeah, and then we've also added a lot of new interactive exercises, to make use of the current technology. And then the writing exercises, again, we've kind of refreshed and replaced them with exercises that we on the module team have tried and tested on students for many years.
Oh, fantastic. We love the way that we can interact now, even though we're at a distance. It's great that we can all take part at the same time. So thank you for that, Jane. That's brilliant. And it seems far too quick to be moving on to the next topic, but unfortunately, we're on topic 2 already. So thank you. Um, uh, Before I move on to James, HJ, who are we hearing from at the moment? Is there anybody out there that wants to say hi?
So we've got lots of people that I just wanted to mention that are doing their exams and EMAs, which all submitted. So they've come at the perfect time, haven't they, to see what they might be studying next and get some interest in the modules. I know that Alison is fairly sure what she wants to do, but she's joined us today just to see what's coming up as well. And I know Natasha had a fantastic question about whether the OU short course provides a good introduction for the uninitiated. The short course Introduction to Creative Writing, is that something that maybe we'd recommend for people who want to try it out and give it a go?
Oh, the quick one back to you then, Jane. Do you recommend the short course?
Yeah, I'd say it's a great chance to have a kind of taster in terms of studying creative writing and the way we work. It's kind of drawn from the A2 and 5 teaching materials as well. So,
Fantastic. So short courses are a great way to test out to see if you want to get involved. So James, we've got A350. You'll notice a lot of jargon coming out. We always refer to our courses by their codes. A350 is Greek and Roman myth. So James, can you tell me about this module? What's involved in Greek and Roman myth?
Well, as you might guess from the title, the focus is on these amazingly compelling, these rich stories that the Greeks and the Romans told about their gods and their heroes, and which they used to explore the human condition and sometimes the underbelly of that human condition as well. And one of the really inspirational things about working on this module for me is just to find out how widespread myth is in the Greek and Roman world. So, of course, we're expecting it to turn up in epic poetry, for example, like Homer or Virgil, or you're expecting it to turn up in Greek tragedy. But really, myth is everywhere in the ancient world. So, one of the blocks, for example, we explore the world of classical Athens and the things that myth does in that culture. And you find myth on temples, you find myth used in public oratory, you find myth referred to in the courtrooms. We find also myth playing a very important part in religion, of course, because a lot of religious activity was based on these mythical stories. And so they also have resonance for people's personal life and personal beliefs. And then, of course, it's within the home as well. So in ancient Athens, pots often had mythical stories painted on them. In the Roman world, we find frescoes, mosaics, we find sarcophagi, these stone coffins in which people were buried in the Roman world with myth carved into them. And so you might go around to a rich Roman's dining room and you would find a figure like Medea, which you do find, staring down at you from the dining room wall. This child murderer, this monster figure. Here's a wonderful Victorian painting of her, who is accompanying you during your meal. And then there's a life that myth has after the classical world as well. So these stories continue to be told and retold in later times. So the Renaissance, for example, this wonderful painting that we have on screen now, this George Sandys picture of Medea. From the late 19th century. And then in the 20th century too, we find poets, we find novelists experimenting with myth. Ted Hughes wrote a version of Ovid's Metamorphoses, for example, and right to the present day, right in the middle of popular culture, we find myth drawn on by a performance poet like Kay Tempest, or a rapper like Testament, or even Beyonce in her videos sometimes draws on mythical themes. And it's all there in our module, all there for you to experience and enjoy.
Wow, I hadn't realised that myth was so embedded in everything that we do. So that sounds fascinating. So this is a level 3 module. Hey, not my dog for a change. So this is a level 3 module. So this is something somebody would be studying once they've done some modules coming into that. Are there any prerequisites to this particular module, or can it be used as one of our standalones in OpenLearn?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't in the open degree. We don't require any previous knowledge. So a lot of our students will be on the classical studies BA. Another bunch of students will be doing the BA in arts and humanities. But equally, we get people, as you say, who are studying for the open degree as well. And so we try to set everything up from scratch. So we have some startup materials and a bit of recommended reading for people to do. But yeah, if people have the skills from level 2 to take forward, then A350 is open to anyone who wants to study it.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, James. We'll go straight into topic 3 then. So in topic 3, we're going to be discussing the new Master in Arts for History and English. So these are based on a new model. So the modules have been written in a new way. And Alex and Ros are going to tell us about it. So I think, Ros, are you going first on this one? So tell us about the new MAs.
Yes, that's right, Rob. So we've developed a new model for MA study in the faculty, and the History and English MAs are the first to be produced using this model. Students can now complete an MA in history or in English within 2 years. And that brings our MAs in line with the rest of the sector, and it also paces students' study more effectively, I think. Crucially, it gives students a summer between the 2 modules. And to make that, it's pretty important, I think, for students.
Yes.
And to make that 2-year MA possible, we've had to come up with an earlier start date, which students might want to be aware of. It starts in September and not October. Now, on these, so that's pretty important to write that down. On these MAs, the students will study 1 module per year. For history, that first module, A883, is largely foundational. And what that means is that it provides students with the skills that's necessary to complete an independent research project in year 2, as well as an introduction to specialist themes that will provide the content for the independent research project that they will do in year 2. The second module, A884 in the History MA, focuses entirely on the preparation and the execution of that independent research project. But we don't leave students entirely alone for that either. We also begin that module with a bit of a training course in how to set up a whole kind of independent project, how to do a proposal, and also project management skills to get them through the year. Finally, aside from that whole kind of complete in 2 years thing, what is also really exciting about these MAs is that both give students options for their study within the module. So for the history MA, students get a choice between early modern history and modern history. So they choose one of these pathways when they register for study. And although they then specialize in one of these periods, they do some kind of specialist study in the early modern period or the modern period, we also, this is great, we also give them the opportunity, if they wish, to dip their toe in the other period. There's an opportunity for studying particular specialist themes across both the early modern period and the modern period, something that historians like to call longue durée study, which is really fulfilling and exciting.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So I think, Alex, are you going to talk to us about the English MA now?
Yeah, thanks very much, Rob. Hi, everybody. It's great to be able to speak to you about the new English MA A893. Like Ros was saying, this new MA runs on a new model. It runs from September to June for 2 years, so you have a break in the summer, and it's balanced and sector comparable. Again, like history, the first year, which is the module A893, is the talk component and has most of the teaching material on it. And the second year, A894, is the dissertation component and involves preparation, more research, kind of upskilling, and some vocational material. On the second part of the MA, we're aware that a lot of our students will be doing this MA for professional reasons, so we've included some really interesting vocational assessment, which is optional in that second part. So students can do lesson plans as part of the assessment if they're working in schools. You can do work on journalism if you're interested in creative forms of writing, or you can do arts curation assessment. But of course, much of that second module, 894, is taken up with the dissertation, with working on your dissertation title, working with your tutor on your dissertation project. So that's a great aspect of the second bit of the MA. The theme of the new English MA is literature in the world. And by that, we mean literature that circulates as a kind of material form. So we're really interested in this MA on the way in which publishing has developed, the way in which popular texts have been marketed, how literature works as a kind of artifact in manuscript form and in written form. We're interested in the circulation of the forms of literature, so things like tragedy or popular fiction. And we're also really interested in the way in which literature interacts with other discourses and ideologies in the world. So the way in which literature can be contextualized and historicized. Like history, optionality is a major, major feature of the new MA in English. We're really excited about the level of optionality we've been able to include in the new MA. On A893, students make choices of options all the way through the module. So the module is organized around a foundation block, which has skills material, but it's applied skills material. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then there are 3 major teaching blocks. Each major teaching block has some compulsory material and 1 compulsory text, but then students will choose in each block from 3 different options. So they'll make choices 3 times in the module, and the choices will be between or out of 9 different options. None of them are repeating. They're all standalone things. So the possibility for kind of designing your own learning pathway is really enhanced on this.
Fantastic. There's an awful lot of information that came through there. And for those of you watching, I'm sure that our colleagues on the hot desk can put some links in to where you can get all of this information on the website. And of course, you can watch the recording once it's available afterwards. So that's one of the problems with these sessions. So much information you want to take in, you have to capture it somehow. I've got a couple of messages popping up on the screen. So Alexander says that the dog wants to express an opinion, and sounds like they definitely want to take part in some of these modules. And Natasha, who must be one of our workshop attendees, talks about study buddies, which we might come on back onto later. So HJ, what else are we hearing?
Well, I know that Carol was very impressed with James' explanation of the new modules, and I'm sure she's very appreciative. And Janine's hoping to study classics as well, so she came just at the right time. Judy as well seems to have her study plans all mapped out, which is fantastic. And she said, I'm interested in going on to an MA if my marks justify it. Well, you're part of the Student Hub Live gang, so I'm sure with all our tips and advice and support from everyone in the chat, we know that you'll do really well. So yeah, we're just very much looking forward to hearing about the next modules as well, but really appreciated hearing about all the creative writing and the classical studies, and a lot of interest in the MAs as well, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. And it's great to see our modules are moving forward. They're getting refreshed. We've got new content, up-to-date content. And I'm sure the students will really appreciate having the summer off. And don't forget...
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Bear in mind that some modules start in September, some October, some November. So make sure, if you're wanting to register, you know when your module starts. So I'd just like to say very quickly, thank you to everybody for joining us today. That has been a real whistle-stop tour through the new modules. And as I say, all of this information, you can find the links on the Student Hub Live website. And if you look at some of the links that have been put into the chat box, those will help you find additional information as well. So it just leaves me now to say thank you very much to Jane, James, Ros, Alex. It's been great to have you with us today, and we'll be coming back in a few moments to look at the psychology curriculum. So hope to see you all in a few minutes.